This is what happens when players clash with their coaches. Lautaro Martinez was furious when he got taken off the field. And when Antonio Conte noticed, he didn't let it slide. They had to settle it in the ring. Literally. Arjen Robben had the guts to confront Ancelotti after being subbed out.
Would have liked by the looks of it. Doesn't look very happy at being taken off there for Renato Sanchez. Just consoling him. He's gonna miss...
Everyone knows Gattuso wasn't easy to deal with. But just look at what he did to Maurizio Sarri.
Gattuso dice Nedved di stare su, ma in questo...
It's no secret that Cristiano Ronaldo and Ten Hag didn't get along. Besides a few arguments, the coach subbed him out several times for no real reason, and even kept him on the bench. But the whole world saw how bad things really were when he gave that interview.
Yes, not only the coach, but the other 2 or 3 guys there around the club that I felt betrayed.
Years before, he also had a problem with the Barcelona coach during an El Clasico, and things got so ugly that both teams started fighting. Look how hard it is to work with Guardiola. When he was at Bayern, Robben got fouled in the box and grabbed the ball to take the penalty, but that wasn't what Guardiola wanted, and that's how the problem started. In the next game, the Dutchman was fouled again, and even though Guardiola told him to take the penalty, he just didn't want to. And this isn't the first time he's acted like this. When he was still at Barcelona, Guardiola got super upset with Alexis Sanchez after the player didn't put in enough effort to chase down a ball and ended up getting injured. Look at how he motivates his players on the field. I think in Germany, he got a bit too loose. The only one better than him is probably Antonio Conte. Back to Guardiola. Even when he wins titles, he still finds problems with his players. Good thing they seem to have learned how to handle his personality. At Manchester City, he even had problems with the club's biggest idol. We don't know what was said, but in the end, Aguero apologized to his coach. And he also stirred up trouble with one of Manchester United's biggest legends. Look at the shady move he pulled on Rooney. Mourinho showed Ibrahimovic who's boss. In a game with Inter Milan, the striker got frustrated and asked to be subbed out. But Mourinho had other plans. He took off Figo, Balotelli, and even the goalkeeper, but left Ibra on the field. And the crazy part is that it worked, because the Swedes scored a goal.
Era sempre stato un giocatore forte, fenomeno quando è riuscito a essere più freddo sotto porta. La cosa che gli diceva...
Even so, just a month after that drama, Ibra left Inter Milan for Barcelona. Was it because of Mourinho? Arsenal's coach, Mikel Arteta, is a protege of Guardiola, and I think he learned a little too well. Look at the problems he had with Kevin De Bruyne after getting in the way of a throw-in. And he wasn't the only coach to have issues with the rival players. Speaking of messing with throw-ins, this coach here closed the line. The whole stadium went wild. And this one thought he was in the NFL and did this. But no one beats Antonio Conte in this. The coach completely lost it and booted the ball. This fight with Balotelli was legendary. He got mad for not getting enough minutes with the coach, and he purposely wasted a scoring chance.
Balotelli, and he's getting booed for this. That's a bit disrespectful, I believe.
Manuel Pellegrini pulled him off the field immediately. But this guy took it a bit too far. He straight up ran over the opposing coach. And of course, everyone on the bench rushed him. The current coach of the Brazilian national team once had a huge problem with Neymar. When the star was still playing in Brazil, Dorival Jr. asked him to play more seriously, and when he saw Neymar wasn't listening, he decided to pull him off the field, which started a huge argument on the sidelines. According to a journalist at the game, Ney supposedly cursed out Dorival Jr. pretty badly. The fight between the two was so intense that the coach was fired, and several journalists and coaches criticized Neymar, calling him spoiled.
Eu poucas vezes vi alguém tão mal educado desportivamente como esse rapaz Neymar.
Check out what happens when a player disagrees with a substitution. The guy completely lost it and ended up getting fined by his own club for disrespectful behavior. Speaking of not agreeing with the substitution, Kepa flat out refused to leave the field, and look at Sarri's reaction. Napoli's coach got so mad when Osimhen missed a penalty that he decided to pull him off the field, but the striker wasn't happy about it at all. But no fight was so serious as this one. Besides exchanging insults, the guys almost threw punches in the locker room.
With Swindon's fitness coach, and then the striker aired his views.
Speaking of players getting mad about being subbed out, check out how Hulk reacted when he was taken off the field. Look at the mistake Diego Costa made. While he was taking off his training vest to get on the field, he just tossed it backward, and unlucky for him, it landed right on Mourinho. I don't even need to say how angry the coach was. When this player sarcastically clapped at his coach for subbing him out, but didn't expect this to happen. They literally started throwing punches. Check out what happened at Tottenham. After Romero apparently got injured, the coach prepared a substitution. The problem was that the defender refused to come off, saying he had recovered, and a huge argument broke out. As for Ronald Araujo, he took it out on the bench, but I think he was the one who suffered the most. After all, that kick must have hurt. After missing the goal, I'm sure the player got an earful from Tuchel in the locker room. Let's take a quick break from all the player-coach drama so you can see the day Jose Mourinho decided to provoke Guardiola, and also for you to smash that like button on the video. Another tough coach to deal with is the Portuguese Jorge Jesus. Check out what he did to get the penalty taker switched. When he was coaching Benfica, he was part of this bizarre scene right here. And even in Brazil, he stirred up trouble with several players. Check out the argument he had with Rafinha, the former Bayern Munich fullback. He even picked a fight with a lizard. Take a look. I don't think Lavezzi liked what he was hearing from the coach, and he just did this. Technically, it wasn't an argument, but check out what this player did while getting instructions from his coach. Zidane did this to Mbappe. I think the only reason there wasn't a fight is that both of them are French. Speaking of Zizou, look at his reaction when Cristiano Ronaldo hit the crossbar during El Clasico. Alexis Sanchez tried to steal Solskjaer's seat, but the coach wasn't having it. Even though he was injured, the Chilean had to get up. I don't think this guy got along with his coach. After he took a huge hit to the face, the coach just laughed right at him.
He was contact. I look at flailing arms caught him, but Sam thinks just get up and get on with it, which I have to say I agree with him. And he's probably...
But with Klopp, it seems to be the opposite. He gets along so well with his players that moments like these happen during training. Though it wasn't always smooth sailing with everyone, Salah couldn't stand the coach anymore. Before coming on the field, the two started arguing right in front of the entire stadium. But at least in this other case, it seems the problem wasn't the coach. After this play, where Salah was really selfish, Mane was just furious. And things got worse when he was subbed out and started complaining to Klopp. Another player Klopp had issues with was Milner. Look at how mad he got when he was subbed out. But it didn't take long for Milner to realize why Klopp was Liverpool's coach and he was just a player. The guy who came on in his place set up the entire play for the goal. and Milner had no choice but to admit he was wrong. This is the best way to end a game. Someone from the coaching staff just went after the player. Now check out this penalty drama. And no, it wasn't the shootout between two teams, but between these two players. The coach didn't trust the striker to take the penalty, but the player refused to give up the ball. And after he scored, he did this to the coach. Messi just couldn't stand Pochettino. Look at his reaction when he was subbed off. Another Paris Saint-Germain striker who had issues with his coach was Mbappe. He wasn't happy at all when he got subbed out and made sure to show his frustration on camera, not even staying to watch the rest of the game. Is that why he left for Real Madrid? This player got a massive scolding from Alex Ferguson. He made a bad pass that led to a Milan goal, and his coach did this right after the play. Believe it or not, even Cristiano Ronaldo had issues with Sir Alex during his early days at United. Pogba posted a video making fun of his own club after they conceded a goal, but the next day he had to face a furious Mourinho. The coach simply kicked Pogba out of training. Haaland was brought in by Manchester City to be the star of the team, so he wasn't happy at all when he got subbed out. He just forgot that the real star of that team is Pep Guardiola. To be honest, it seems like it took the striker a while to understand this, since in another game he had a pretty bad argument with his coach. He spent the whole match waiting for a long ball, which is completely different from what Guardiola wants. And at the end of the game, things got heated between the two. Another player who had to learn to bow to Guardiola was Kevin De Bruyne. Check out the argument between the two on the bench after the star showed he wasn't happy about being subbed off. Goalkeeper Ederson went through something similar. After taking a hard hit, Guardiola thought it was best to sub him out, but the Brazilian didn't like that at all. The result? Another public scolding for everyone to see. Speaking of not being happy, look at how Dele Alli reacted to being subbed out. Mourinho himself talked about it in the press conference, saying that Dele Alli should be mad at his own performance and not at his coach. And apparently, this is normal in the English team, since Betancourt did the same thing after going to the bench. Now, moving to Italy, this player had to be subbed out after another player from his team was sent off. And he wasn't happy about it at all. The worst part is that he made a big scene right in front of his coach, who was none other than Andrea Pirlo. Another epic battle between a player and a rival coach happened between Lionel Messi and Louis van Gaal in the 2022 World Cup. In the match against the Netherlands, the Argentinians not only won, but they won with a goal from Lionel. And the trash talk didn't just stay on the field, it carried over to the media as well. Even players who had nothing to do with the story got dragged into it. In that same World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo also had issues with his coach. After being subbed out, he was so shaken that he ignored his teammates and went straight to the bench. Ozil acted the same way when Unai Emery subbed him off. In Brazil, one of Neymar's best friends threw a fit when he was substituted. In a game for the Egyptian national team, cameras captured an entire argument between a player and his coach before the substitution. The back and forth was intense. But even worse than that is missing a goal just to avoid passing the ball. Click on the video that's popping up on your screen right now and check out the most selfish moments in football.